Welcome into the Mississippi Coliseum here in Jackson, Mississippi. We are in the capital city, and we are getting ready for the Class 3A girls semifinal. Southeast Lauderdale Lady Tigers against the Ripley Lady Tigers. Two of the more storied programs in 3A basketball getting ready to do battle tonight. Josh West alongside David Sanders, a former Ole Miss great and current Northwest Rankin head coach. David, glad to have you with us tonight. I know you're excited.
Glad to be here.
As we get ready for this tip-off tonight, let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's starting lineups as we're moments away from tip-off. We'll first take a look at the Ripley High School starting lineup, and that will be for Ripley, Jayla Chills. Chills will get the lineup in the backcourt, and then joining Chills in the lineup tonight for Ripley, the 5'9" junior. Also in the lineup will be Letitia Evans. Evans, the 5'6" sophomore. Also in the lineup tonight, this is a player that makes them go. Becca Rux, averaging 15.2 per game. The 6'1" senior is where everything will run through. That's their bread and butter player. Then Zeta Cox, just a freshman at 5'8", but she'll be key tonight. And then Daisha Collum, the 5'8" junior, rounding out this starting five. Now as we turn the page from Katie Bates' Ripley Tigers to look at Joe Miller's Southeast Lauderdale Lady Tigers, the lineup looks like this. It'll be Anitra, you know her as Tay Ruffin, the 5'6" junior. It'll also be Denisha Knight. Knight checks in at 5'7" and a junior. Also in the lineup tonight, it will be Sharia Harbin, a 5'5" sophomore, and it'll be Tamara Trussell, just an 8th grader at 5'5", but in a lineup and a vital part of this team. And then Tynesha Newell, the 5'6" senior, in the lineup as well. So it's Ripley, it's Southeast Lauderdale. The opening tip coming up when we return. You're watching the MHSAA Sports Network.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Alright, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the MHSAA network, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Josh West alongside David Sanders back here at the Mississippi Coliseum. As you can see, the starting lineups being introduced. This is the opening game of this 3A girls bracket. Semifinal number 1, Ripley, Southeast Lauderdale, two very storied programs. So look back to last year, it was a win over Choctaw Central for Ripley. Ripley, the defending 3A girls state champions. They're looking to go back-to-back this year against a Southeast Lauderdale team that is very good in their own right. You look at what Southeast Lauderdale has done in recent memory, championships in 2001 and 2006, as well as 2008. You can also pair up championships in 2003 and 2010 for Ripley, who won it last year. So, David, these are two teams that are here every year. They plan on being here. Both feel like this is their game to win. We're going to see a lot of passion and emotion in this one tonight.
Both teams have really developed a mentality that they really want to be here in the big house, and they don't settle for anything less, and that's one of the things that makes both programs really great.
Other side of the bracket, Choctaw Central and Belmont. Those are two teams that have been in this 4-team race in the recent years, and as we look out to the center of the floor, it's going to be for Ripley, Jayla Chills winning the tip into the backcourt. And with the basketball, it's Rux. And Rux is where they like to go with the basketball. They'll get there early. Zeta Cox inside to Rux. She'll face up. Too strong with that first tip, but an offensive board by Chills. She'll circle it back out. And so we see zone pressure to start the basketball game for Ripley just underway. Here's a crossover, dribble drive, a spin, a jumper. Short, no good. And the rebound pulled in very early on by Southeast Lauderdale. So right out of the gate, good defense by Southeast Lauderdale.
They're looking to pack it in and really play their zone real tight, and that's a good strategy for them.
And they've got to keep an eye on Rux. With the basketball, here is Pringle. Pringle working with it between the rings. Picks it up, in trouble, got rid of it. Inside, a deflection, getting it back and sticking it in is 6'2" senior Jordan Gentry.
Looks like one of those 50-50 balls went their way early.
Here's Ripley. Good look at a 15-footer. Bearing at that time is Daisha Collins. So the junior's got her first 2 points. She's playing on a bad ACL/MCL. You can call it. Both of those are hurting her. Probably should have had surgery before the year, David, but she's just gutting it out. And that time you saw, not very mobile. She just settled for the jumper but knocked it in.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure you would have had to fight her to keep her out of this game. She's in the big house, and she's made a big shot for her team early and got a turnover.
Unforced error, as David alluded to, gives it back to Ripley. 2-2 our score. Just over a minute in, and both teams, from all we've seen throughout the day today, and it's been a very busy day, New Site, Taylorsville, SV Marshall, and Baldwin already punching their tickets. So far, these two teams seem to be fairly calm, but again, we're going to see errors early as these two teams try to calm the nerves.
Oh, yeah, the nerves are a big part of the start of the game.
It's been really the overriding storyline of the day. If any team ever comes out completely on their game, I think they're going to cruise, because it's just something that you cannot simulate in practice, David. I know as a coach you try to do that, but you really can't, can you?
No, you really can't. It's one of those things you have to experience, and some of these players have not experienced that yet. But even though the programs are very storied.
Another missed shot from point-blank range, and then a white streak down the floor from left to right went Zeta Cox, the freshman. And she'll get to the line.
What Southeast Lauderdale should have did there was got over and taken a charge, and the player really didn't hustle back as well as she should have. I'm sure coach is letting her know about it right now.
The foul was on Pringle, her first. To the line is Zeta Cox, and Cox, a 45% free throw shooter, averages 5.9 points per game. This is the first. It's a lost art, isn't it? Free throw shooting. We see more and more players that are they might be a 40% three-point shooter, but only a 60% free throw shooter.
And it comes down to focus. It's one of those things that you really have to focus on. At this point in the year, free throws are the things that separates champions from second place.
Here's a drive left to the key, and losing the dribble, throwing it away, and a steal was Knight. Here comes Cox down the floor in transition into the corner. Chills double teaming Rux on the block, and they're just not going to let Rux get the ball. Here's a crossover, and the pass deflected back out to Chills. Here's the drive right of the key. There's that jumper again from the baseline. This time no good by Collin, but an offensive rebound on basically one leg. Here's a drive down the lane to the rim, and we see Cox draw the foul. Pretty good freshman.
Oh, yeah, and that's one of the things that you have to do against a zone. You have to attack the zone. You cannot settle for jump shots all night. They'll fall a couple times, but most of the part you have to attack the zone.
Each team now with 2 personal fouls. As the free throw is up and no good. Boy, this is tough. 45% free throw shooter. She started out tonight 0 for 3, 22 of 52 on the season. And what you know about this Ripley team, they're not going to wow you from outside. They're going to get to the rack.
Yeah, and she's only a ninth grader, so it's one of those things that she'll learn to really value is stepping to the free throw line and knocking down free throws.
Just a 2-2 ball game. This is not abnormal today to see these teams come out a little bit nervous. Here's the drive by Pringle. Pringle picks up the dribble, lob inside, back to the basket catch, turnaround jumper, Bush no good. And a rebound brought in by Chills. Chills along the left corner. Chills averages 17.8 per game, with Rux being fronted and back to the post. Might have to be Chills that takes over. Here's a drive. They underestimated Collin, who got to the rim. It wasn't very quick, but she got there and finished.
Oh, she's a warrior. She's coming out playing on that bad leg, and she's looking real good early.
Very impressive so far. Here's the drive down the floor as we saw Knight get a little ahead of herself, but Ripley bails her out on the baseline, taps it out of bounds, and a substitution checking into the ball game. Tynesha Newell, the senior, checking in. Well, David, one thing that's obvious, they're going to completely take Rux out of this ball game and make everybody else beat them. Southeast Lauderdale, I'm speaking of.
I would definitely say that's a good strategy. She's had a great year this year, and you really want to make those other players step up and do some things that they're really not used to doing right now. But so far, it's looking good for Ripley.
I'd say so. Being looked at by Delta State, averaging almost 16 and 7 per game. Nice little hook shot that time by Kanisha Pringle, her first 2 points. The junior averages 7 per game. On the baseline, again, it's Collin. They're going to give her that shot all night long. Finally to Rux. Rux in traffic goes up and lays it in. Hey, Coach, I think I would front her and back her in the post, too.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like that strategy was working real good for them. And I think they kind of let her get one there. And and that's one of the things that they're going to really have to watch out for.
6-4 lead here early going. Pass inside, a bad one, a steal. Ripley in transition, off and running. Here's the trip to the bucket for Zeta Cox.
Are you sure she's a 9th grader?
Look, we've been wanting to pull birth certificates all day long. It's amazing. And you know this, Coach. You see all these young players now. They're playing basketball younger and younger at a more and more competitive level. And these kids don't look their age.
Oh, yeah. I think it's one of the things that's great about the sport, especially with women's basketball.
Pass inside. The catch underneath by Knight. And what's the whistle? Oh, an offensive foul.
Oh, yeah. That
could have gone the other way as well.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, the 9th graders are really picking up in the state of Mississippi, and I think it's a lot. You got a lot of AAU and things that are helping them get more time in the gym, and they're starting to be able to contribute at a younger age.
Now, the AAU circuit is allowing kids to get more and more experience. Flip side of that, though, is that they play one way in the summer, more wide open transition. Then you got to teach them how to play defense when they come back in the fall, don't you?
Oh, yeah, as we just saw with that charge down there on the other end.
Here's Rux getting inside, barreling over players, and a whistle and a foul going to be called. Again, another close blocking charge call. Rux going to the line here. 3:45 to go first quarter, and Rux now trying to take over this ball game.
Oh, yeah, she's going to force the issue when she touches it, and she's doing a smart thing. She's going to make the refs call something, and as you can see, she's stepping up and knocking down her free throws and putting the team in a good position.
Had a good stroke there this year, just 55%, 56 of 101. But make it 58 of 103 as she knocks down her first two. 10-4 lead for Ripley.
Full court pressure by Ripley. They're trying to pick it up and force the tempo.
Southeast Lauderdale wanting to be patient. Pringle the basketball. The junior off a screen on the wing. Pick and roll. And Rux a big block. And didn't even really swat it. Just took it out of midair. Here comes Chills down the far sideline. Crosses over. Step back. Jumper. Boy, that would have brought the house down. Rux an offensive rebound.
Rux is all over the glass. They're going to have to keep a body on her like they were doing in the beginning.
Baseline jumper wouldn't fall. Another board by Rux. Sticks it up. Would not fall. And a whistle and a push. And they're going to call a loose ball foul on Southeast Lauderdale. Okay, I was just going with what the call was here. I didn't see whether it was blue or white from the official. It was on Rux, and
yeah, they called it over the back.
That was a touch foul.
Oh yeah, that was kind of a chippy foul. I think she was going for the ball, going after the ball. Nobody had a body on her, but she's relentless on the boards now. They're gonna have to keep, it looks like, 2 bodies on her because 1 is not enough right now.
It's been interesting today. The officiating has been good, but at times inconsistent. The officials want to let them play, but then there are times where they have to blow the whistle, and therein lies the inconsistency. They've got to let them play because, I mean, you don't want to call it so tight where there's no flow to the ball game, but it's just been strange.
I think that's one of the things that they're trying to iron out in the program is the fans want to come and see the best players play. And, you know, some of the little chippy fouls I think they can let go because you want to have your best players on the floor during the game, and that's what the fans come to see, the people that's put the points on the board all year long. And I think the refs I think they'll do a better job of it as the game goes along.
And correct me if I'm wrong, David, these officials that are here on merit. You've got to be grade out the best all year to get here.
Oh yeah, they have to earn their keep when they get here, and we have officials over there evaluating them, and I think they've done a good job all year.
Pass inside, and Rux over for what appeared to be a clean block up high, but it was the body down low. And here's the worst case scenario for Ripley. 2 quick fouls on Becca Rux, the senior.
Yeah. That's a tough call for Rux. That's a tough call for her, but I think, like I said, the officials, they're going to make a few mistakes, but for the most part, they get it right most of the time. And like I said, it's a human element to it.
3 minutes to go first quarter, 10-6, and as we were mentioning, worst case scenario for Ripley. Talking to their play-by-play guy before the game, Michael Harrison. Harrison saying if Rux goes out, they stall offensively. Good move that time, but a missed shot inside by Jada Rich, and a travel steps call. Going to give it right back to Ripley with 2:45 to go first quarter. So let's see what Ripley can do. Now the defensive game plan changes.
Yeah, now's the time where the defense can kind of play them straight up. They have to focus on number 10.
The 3 ball out of the corner, Jayla Chills. Well, Chills obviously got the memo. If Rux is out of the ball game, then that's my green light to shoot.
Oh, yeah, she has to step up here and lead the team with Rux over there with 2 fouls. And she's doing a good job over there.
Pass right corner. And an extra step, and she knew it immediately. That time, Tay Ruffin just moved the wrong foot. She had set her feet, established the left as that pivot foot, and as you saw when she moved it, she couldn't even sell that one.
Well, that's one of the trade-offs you get with a man-to-man defense. They're putting pressure on, and you can have a run a risk of your stars getting in foul trouble, but the pressure does pay off.
So Ripley with a 7-point lead, largest of the game so far. The drive by Ripley to the bucket and the lay-in.
That's a good, strong drive baseline, and they're doing a good job here with Rux on the bench.
Zeta Cox 4 points, although despite 0 for 4 from the free throw line. Here's the drive, right of the key, into the corner. Now down low, a nice catch, and a whistle. And a foul call coming from across the floor, a push. Hands in the back that time. That was Daisha Collum, the junior.
They're getting in foul trouble down low. I think one of the things that they're going to have to switch up is they're going to have to fight around in the post and not sit behind the post player down there, because you're going to pick up cheap fouls if you do.
Southeast Lauderdale has more size across the board. Ripley's got size and a couple of post players. There's a nice job, a very efficient dribble and a bucket by Pringle. Kamisha's got 4 points.
Nice move. Southeast Lauderdale needs a big stop here to get back in the ball game.
Here's the skip pass across the lane. Cox, a tough leaner, would not fall, and a nice rebound in traffic.
Ripley's getting the shots they want. They just have to consistently make them. I think they're doing a good job on the offensive end of penetrating.
Time winding down first quarter. Losing the footing that time was Knight in a steal. Here comes Chills. Going to go one on the world and carry the basketball.
Yeah, I think she got a little excited there. She had a nice break, but I think Southeast did a good job of getting back on defense there. She should have pulled that one back out.
Down to 71 ticks to go first quarter. Josh West alongside David Sanders as we settle into another evening session here at the Big House. Opening day of this 2012 MHSAA State Championship. Southeast Lauderdale Ripley, two of the more storied teams in the past decade. Each have won a trio of state championships since 2000.
Right there, they did what I was talking about last time. They fought around in the post and they got a bad pass over the top. I think that's one of the things that they're going to have to switch up on defense.
Here's Cox. Zeta gets it back out to Letitia Evans, the senior, just going to hold the basketball. 15-8.
Right here, they want the last shot of the half. You always want to go in and get the last shot and don't give the opponent another opportunity to score.
One of the subtleties and the nuances of Mississippi high school basketball, no shot clock, 4 8-minute quarters, but the no shot clock can shorten ball games. And I know there's a few states that have the shot clock, and they might walk in a gym and go, wait a minute, what's going on here? The shot clock's broken. Why? They wouldn't know what's going on.
I definitely think it's something they need to look at, getting the shot clock in high school, because it will prepare them for the college level.
And sometimes there is a struggle there. Cox gets loose, baseline jumper no good, offensive rebound, stick back won't fall. And let's see, as we have a substitution checking in as it's out of bounds off of Ripley. Into the ball game now is Tynesia Newell, the senior. Tynesia.
Right there, Southeast forced the issue, and they wanted to get the ball back for a last shot.
Tynesia going to crank it, have it blocked, and that's the end of the first quarter. Very good first quarter for Ripley, but story of the quarter's got to be Becca Rux, one of the impact players of this game, on the bench with 2 personal fouls. We'll step aside for a break. Back in a moment. Well, don't forget you can buy a DVD of this game. You can go to www.misssaa.tv. As you see on your screen, this is one of those mementos you're going to want to cherish for a lifetime. Go back and relive it over and over again. So you can pick up those DVDs at missHSAA.tv. It is Ripley 15, Southeast Lauderdale 8 as we get ready for the start of the second quarter. Josh Wessel alongside David Sanders. David, what's your biggest thought of that first quarter? For me, obviously, it's Rux with 2 fouls, but still Ripley is up by 7 points and seem to be playing very well right now.
I think they're in good position. What I would do as a coach, I would definitely keep Rux out as long as I could keep the ball game close here in the second quarter, because you don't want her to pick up a third early in the game. If you can go in the second half with the 2 fouls, she can play ball.
We have seen that today already. Coaches taking a gamble and that particular player picking up the 3rd personal foul. Here's a drive off a deflection, missed layup by Pringle. And here comes Ripley. Ripley pushing with Chills. Nasty crossover. Got in traffic. Came down hard on her hip. And she's not going to pop up very quick. Slow to get up. And Southeast Lauderdale bails out Ripley right there and turns it over.
I think both teams really have to settle down and really kind of take care of the basketball. It's going to be key here to, in this quarter to see who has the least amount of turnovers.
The only thing that really jumps off the stat sheet for me right now is that Ripley dominating the boards, almost a 2-1 margin, 9-5 in that department, and then points off turnovers. Ripley a 5-0 edge.
So I think it's hard in the zone to really get a good box out, and there they get a real good position down low.
Here's the rebound off the miss by Bush, and clearing is Pringle. Battle of Lady Tigers, and here is a loose ball picked up, and now Chills in transition. Chills will pull up in rhythm. 17-footer, that's nasty.
That's a great decision. She went in there a couple times and turned it over, and she learned from her mistakes and pulled up with a nice 15-foot jump shot.
Well, if you can shoot that in transition, you're tough to guard.
Oh yeah, almost impossible to stop.
17-8 now. Matching the largest lead for Ripley of the game. Pass inside again, down low Bush, turning left shoulder, missing. And the rebound again by Ripley, but a travel. And again, Coach, what would you be saying right now?
Well,
square up.
I think you have to settle down a little bit. I think that was less the guard's fault and more the big man's fault. You have to lead your guard into a good decision. There's no way she could see that person behind her right there.
Just because you can make the pass doesn't mean it's a good pass.
Exactly.
From the baseline. The catch, top of the circle. Driving. The shot up. And a foul called. So going to the line will be Venetia Knight, the junior.
Again, that's one of those things I think they're going to have to trade off with playing a man-to-man pressure defense. You're going to have to see, can you stay out of foul trouble, but it's still put good pressure on the guards. And right now I think they're doing a good job of it.
That was a 16th foul already on Ripley. Free throw is no good. And so for Knight at the line this season, Knight is 73% no. Looked at her numbers. 35 now of 75, right at just a shade under 50% on the year. 17-9, making 1 of 2, and nearly a turnover by Cox, who almost got her knee rolled up on the play. Here's Chills spinning, shooting it up, no good, and the rebound pulled in by Gentry. Southeast Lauderdale going to run. Bush got behind the defense, pass too strong.
I think that's at least 3 or 4 times that Southeast guards have threw the ball too far to the big man. They have to put a little lob on that ball and let the big man run up under it.
Got to be a place, though, at the next level for Jordan Gentry, doesn't there? 6'2", very active, and you can't teach 6'2" in the women's game.
Oh, no, you cannot. And I think any college coach would be glad to get their hands on a player like that to kind of mold him and iron out some of the rough spots.
Here's Chills. Now back up top. Evans the basketball. Goes right side Cox. Cox now going to slip it inside. And that one just ricocheted off the hands that time of Rich. Here comes Knight again. Nice pass at the end for an easy lay-in.
Great pass, great jump stop, and find your man down low and deliver a nice pass for a good finish.
Down to 5.5 to go first half. One thing that's been amazing about these games is that they've moved pretty briskly.
Yeah, it's not been a whole lot of fouling here early, and I think the games go a lot faster when you got a lot less whistles.
Rich double teamed as well, had to get rid of it. Now Evans trying to find a seam to perhaps drive, and then was bumped and fouled.
And I think foul trouble will come into play here throughout this second quarter here. It's going to be key to see whether they sit some of the starters or if they let them play through the foul trouble.
Well, Tanisha Knight just picked up her second decision time for the Southeast Lauderdale coaches. Here's a steal, though, by Knight, taken right back by Evans. So Knight still getting in and mixing it up with 2 fouls. Here's Cox, left wing. Southeast staying in that zone. Here's the baseline drive in traffic. Crawling off the rim, the layup by Collum. Rebound, Chills, throws it up. Kind of a prayer that time. And again, Chills almost got rolled up. Dangerous play there at the end along the near sidelines, as Chills was lucky to come out with a leg intact.
That's definitely one of the things that they don't want to have. They want to lose Chills and have their best player on the sideline with 2 fouls. So she definitely needs to be careful.
4:42 to go, a timeout on the floor. And David 17-11. Ruck still on the bench, and you know that she's itching to get back in. For those of you who are just logged in, it's Ruck's picking up 4 quick points, looking like she was about to take over the game. And then an offensive, rather loose ball foul on one end. Right back down the floor. Got a clean block up top, but body down low. Picked up 2 quick fouls on back-to-back trips down the floor. All of a sudden, she's on the bench.
As a coach right here, you want to definitely make sure she keeps her head in the game and doesn't let the foul trouble or the tick-tack calls get to her. She definitely is going to be needed in the second half, and you have to sit her as long as you can to ensure that she can play a full second half and not have to worry about foul trouble. The last thing you want is a player going into a half with only 2 fouls to play, and now she can't play defense like she really wants to. She can't really attack the basket like she really wants to. So right now they're in good shape. They're up 6, and they're playing a good game right now. You have to really ride it as long as you can.
If you're Southeast Lauderdale and you're head coach Joe Miller, are you really in the back of your mind trying to get your team psyched up, knowing they probably need to have a lead when Rux comes back into the ball game?
Oh yeah, you definitely have to take advantage of this situation with her on the bench, because when she comes back, I'm pretty sure she's going to be pretty angry. She's going to want to really get into the game.
That's probably an understatement. Here's Evans now to Chills. Chills picked up by Pringle. 17-11. Ripley by 6. They've led by as many as 9. Chills, little crossover, bring up Evans for 3. Long, no good. And this crowd kind of ready to erupt on some kind of big play, a 3 or a transition layup, and crowd's a little quiet right now.
Oh yeah, I think Ripley is going to have to knock down a 3-point shot at some time to kind of loosen up this defense.
Evans. The play was going to Chills, now to Cox, an air ball. Goes out of bounds and into the media table. Well, if that were our last game, Baldwin knocking off Bay Springs, we'd have had probably 2 or 3 players under the scorer's table diving for that ball.
Oh yeah, I think it's one of those things that you have to really stress is hustle. You got to go all out. You've made it to the big house. A lot of teams want to be here, but you've made it, and now you have to leave it all out on the floor.
It does come a lot down to 1-2 when you get teams that are so evenly matched with so much talent. You can't just go out and win it on athleticism and talent alone. There's got to be some special things happen.
Oh yeah.
And never seeing the defender was Cox. A steal by Ruffin down the floor to Bush, and Bush draws the foul. And so Bush going to the line for 2.
That time the Southeast Lauderdale guards did a better job of passing up the floor and leading the big man with a soft pass, and she was able to get to the line for 2 more free throws.
Bush is a 61% free throw shooter on the season, coming in 81 of 132, and she knocks in the first free throw. But we talk about the foul situation now. You've got Rux with 2, and now Collum with 3, and Collum goes out. So it really is on Jada Rich, the freshman, to kind of anchor it down and hold things down in there, and a rare air ball.
I think they're going to have to fight around on that post down there. They're picking up a lot of fouls down there, sitting behind the man on defense, and they're going to have to fight around to try to eliminate fouls.
Here's the drive from the baseline. A shot up by Chills, no good. And the rebound underneath by Gentry. Long pass ahead, the catch, the spin, the shot up, and it hangs on the rim and crawls in by Pringle.
Ripley has to do a better job of getting back on defense there. Southeast is really looking to get the ball up the floor and get it an easy basket.
From a 9-point game, David, back to a 3-point game. 3:10 to go first half. Southeast Lauderdale making their push, as we touched on. They want to have that lead with Rux on the bench.
Looks like Southeast went to a boxing one. They're gonna keep Chills from getting the ball with the big man on the bench. They're gonna really try to keep her from getting any more baskets.
And it is star on star. Pringle on Chills. Pass inside to Rich. Turning left shoulder. Baby hook. How about that out of nowhere?
Great finish. She's going to have to step up. They're going to have to get some players to step up right here with some key players in foul trouble.
And it wasn't, I mean, she averages almost 6 a game, but it's the fact that she caught it and there was no hesitation. I like to see that. Back to a 5-point lead and a travel, and Ruffin knew it. That's the second time in this game she's been so guilty. She's just slumped her shoulders. You got to sell it, man.
No
you can't
argument.
Just give up.
Yeah, she has to sell it a little bit more. At least shrug your shoulders or something. But
you gotta go. No, what are you talking about?
Well, Coach gave her an earful, so I think she's got the picture.
Did you ever commit a foul at Ole Miss that you admitted to?
Not that I remember.
I didn't think so. 19-14. Pass inside, turning, shot up. That one is no good. But again, we talk about Rux. How about Miss Rich?
She's really stepping up for a team right here. And I think one of the problems I'm seeing from both teams right now is they're willing to sit behind the player in the post. And anybody with a good post move down there will at least get to the line on you for 2 free throws. They're going to have to change that defense up.
Rich just a 33% free throw shooter. Team numbers for this Ripley team from the free throw line, just 56% as a team from the free throw line, but Rich makes the second. But with Ripley only 56%, Southeast Lauderdale only 54% as a team from the stripe.
And it's probably going to come down to free throws in the end, so somebody's going to have to step up and overcome their percentage.
It's not going to be who makes the most, it's going to be who misses the least. And an offensive push-off at half court on Pringle.
Great call by the referee. The player, she reached her arm out and pushed off to gain a little space. And Ripley's man-to-man defense is really starting to ball the Southeast.
All of a sudden, back to a 6-point lead in a battle of Lady Tigers. The winner will get the winner of Belmont and Choctaw Central. They'll play tomorrow night. Here's a steal by Pringle, not resting on her laurels, and then the shot was deflected, and then a quick travel.
I think both teams are kind of getting a little antsy here. They're going to have to settle themselves down. When you get a turnover like that, you really have to pull it out and try to get something good.
A big minute 53 left here. 20-14. Pass comes in. The catch by Ruffin. The shot no good, short. And a quick rebound cleared out quickly. Cox running with numbers. Cox stops, pops, shot, won't fall. Gets it back though off a deflection and then a held ball. But the arrow with Ripley. So Ripley now dictating everything in this basketball game.
She didn't make the shot, but that was a good decision to pull up for the shot off the glass. A good decision by the young player.
See what Southeast can do here in this box and one. Chills got loose off a great ball screen. The triple wouldn't fall, and a rebound for Pringle.
Really good play. You can't ask for a better play. It's executed real well. They just didn't get the result they want.
Cleared tonight quickly, but Ripley got back quickly defensively. Pringle's got 6, down low Bush. Bush turned, shot up, good, and one. Nice play by Bush. Bush averages 17.2 per game, but Bush right now tonight in this one, I've only got her with now 3 points. Now that's unofficial. We'll get the box score at halftime and let you know about those numbers, but so far you expect her to take off at some point.
Once again, sitting behind her in the post, it's going to be really tough to play defense like that all night.
So needless to say, I would know what your short and sweet halftime speech would be to both teams. You've got to front the post.
Definitely.
And another travel. Coach, it goes right back to what you've been talking about for the last couple of minutes, is that these two teams got to take a deep breath, regain composure, slow down a little bit.
It's all about execution. When you get to this point, everybody's good, but it's going to be about which team executes the best.
What a no-look pass. Knight to Ruffin for the deuce. The easy lay-in created off the pass by Knight. We've got ourselves a 2-point game. Lob inside, double team. Poked away. Evans is able to catch it from trickling out of bounds. Evans now nearly carried. Here's Chill attacking down the lane to the rim. No good. And a quick rebound by Newell. Here comes Southeast Lauderdale. Long outlet pass. There on the other end. Finishing is Pringle. Almost finishing.
Once again, Ripley is not getting back on defense. I think they have to get a guard that gets back every time to stop the run out. The big girls from Ripley are really not running the floor well, and Southeast is just beating them down the floor and getting easy baskets.
Well, it was close to an and one. And the free throw is up and no good.
Once again, it's going to come down to a free throw battle. Both teams are going to have to step up and knock down some free throws if they want to win the game.
Pringle 52% on the year. Misses both. Coach, I can't believe it. I was an 8 out of 10 free throw shooter, 80%. Whole career, 80%. I don't understand. It's the only thing I could do. I'm white and I'm 5'11". You know, I had to shoot free throws.
Well, I was about a 7 out of 10, so, you know, it's one of the things that I still think I could have done a lot better. It's key. It's very key in the game to knock down your free throws, especially when you get to the big house. I can't say on the championship game, my senior year, I was 10 for 10, so I was proud of that.
8.6 seconds to go first half, 20-18 at halftime. We'll have a quick break, a recap, and then we'll pause for a moment here. Come back with the stats right before the start of the third quarter. Chill with 2.7 seconds left, and time will expire in this first half. Chill knocks in a jumper. Well, you can say with ice water in her veins. 7 points for Jayla Chill, and Southeast Lauderdale hanging around, down 4 at the break. We'll come back to get David's thoughts after this here on the MHSAA Sports Network.
Get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the MHSAA network, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Ripley 22, Southeast Lauderdale 18. Josh West alongside David Sanders. And David, your thoughts on that first half?
Well, I think it's going to come down to free throws. It looks like both teams are kind of getting in foul trouble. I think Ripley has to do a better job of getting back on defense and really forcing Southeast Lauderdale to beat them in the half court, which they hadn't done a very good job of. The big girls from Southeast are running the floor. They're playing hard and they're trying to finish on the other end. And Ripley just cannot give up easy baskets. But they do have the lead here with their star on the bench, and hopefully she comes out in the second half and really gets into the game.
A very close game, as the stats would indicate. The slight edge in the rebounding department to Ripley, and a slight edge on the scoreboard as well, 22-18. We'll step aside for a short break here at halftime. Come back a couple of minutes before the start of the third quarter with our first half stats and a look again at our lineups. Again, Ripley 22, Southeast Lauderdale 18 at the half here in the 3A girls semifinal from the Big House. Ripley 22, Southeast Lauderdale 18. Josh Wessel alongside David Sanders as we get set to start this third quarter of play. And we look at the first half stats, and as we look at those, it's going to be pretty interesting. One of the things that jumped out of us on the stat sheet was the fact that you look at 9 of 28 for Ripley in that first half. Southeast Lauderdale 7 of 14. That's twice as many field goal attempts, and then just 32% for the Ripley Tigers. Southeast Lauderdale 50%. And then the free throw numbers, ouch, 4 of 8 and 3 of 8, a combined 7 of 16. That's a struggle. And then the 27 turnovers. That's been typical, though, David, because of the nerves, especially through the first quarter. When you look at those stats, what immediately do these two teams have to kind of shore up to get this third quarter started?
Well, I think they kind of, both teams never really shook the jitters like they really should have early. And I think this second half is going to be a team that settles down the most, is just going to take control of the game.
As we look inside, there's Rux back in, playing with those 2 personal fouls. Here comes Chills to elevate the shot. No good, and the rebound on the defensive end by Tay Ruffin. Here's the push. Here's Knight. The shot no good, and the rebound, Chills has it. Just underway, third quarter. Glad you're with us. Here's the drive. The leaner, the banker, goes down for Chills, and Chills has got 9 points.
She's coming out real aggressive in this half, and I think it's going to be key for her to do that, and that will help keep Rux out of foul trouble.
24-18, now a 6-point game. Ripley led by as many as 9 in that first half. Ripley the defending champs, and they get a deflection and a steal. Column clears quickly to Cox, ahead to Chills. Chills with a nose for 2, right to the rim. 11 now for Chills, and I think she was able to get going when Rux was on the bench, and now she's just stayed hot in this basketball game. 26-18 now.
Oh, yeah, she's one of those players. She's going to, nothing discourages her, and she's going hard to the basket, and it's really picking her team up right now.
And now Ripley off and running again, 3-on-2. Cox puts it up and had it go in and out. How that one didn't fall, I'm not sure. But Knight's got it coming the other way for Southeast Lauderdale. And a timeout, Southeast Lauderdale. Timeout, and we'll stay right here. An 8-point lead for Ripley. 4-0 run. We'll jump to break. Back after this, here to the Big House in Jackson.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the MHSAA network, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
Kamisha Pringle with 8 points in that first half for Southeast Lauderdale. 4 points for Tay Ruffin, and then for Ripley, 7 points for Jayla Chills. And then he had 4 points for Rux, Cox, and Collin, but now all of a sudden 11 for Chills. She has spurred this hot start for Ripley out of the gates here in the third quarter. Back to an 8-point game. Southeast Lauderdale needs a bucket. That's why they got that timeout.
Yeah, Coach wants to talk it over and kind of settle his players down, and I think they're going to come out here and give him something good.
Coach Miller, I don't know if that's what he drew up. A tough shot and a hard collision to the hardwood by Tay Ruffin, and Ruffin is, I'm sure, glad to be walking down the floor under her own power. We have seen some violent crashes to the floor, players leaving their feet, not knowing where they would land.
Oh, yeah, she had those knee pads on, so I think she'll be okay. That's one of the reasons why I think the ladies wear them, because they have some very violent falls.
Here's Rux putting up a shot that's too strong. Cox then over the back, and let's see if that's the way the whistle goes. It is.
That's one of those shots that Rux has to make. She's had to go up strong with her left hand there, and that's one of the things she'll learn at the next level, how to finish with the proper hand on the proper side of the floor.
Cox with 3, Collin with 3, Rux with 2. 26-18 lead for Ripley. Southeast Lauderdale the basketball. Picking up the dribble, Pringle in trouble, trying to get rid of it. And then it was poked away last touch that time by Daisha Collin.
Evans really put good ball pressure on right there. She's doing a good job of that and have done it the whole game. And what she's going to have to get her teammates to step up and put in pressure with her.
Pass slipped into Pringle. Back to Newell. The senior backs it out. 2.5 minutes in to this second half. Here's Newell. Nice pass inside and a nice finish by Gentry. The senior stayed patient for 2. Now 4 points for Gentry. And here's a steal. Bush just reached in there and took it away. Out-muscled everyone.
Good defense.
Pass along the baseline. The shot up. No good. And Rux clears quickly. And now Ripley running again. Chills down the lane. Spins. Flips it up. Out of control. Falling down. And nearly got it to go.
She's really forcing the issue right now. She's trying to get her team going. And she's doing a good job of getting to the line. Some of the moves are kind of questionable, but nobody's really stepping up and taking a charge on her, so she's able to get to the line.
Right, you can play out of control like that if the other team's going to bail you out.
Oh, yeah.
And Chills kind of knows that right now.
She's just being aggressive.
Up and good.
She's just being real aggressive right now. I think they're going to have to get Rux going into this game at some point. She's sat down for a long time, and right now she's got to really find a way to get herself into the game.
And a team that's inconsistent at the line, according to the scouting report, Chills is that exception. 74% on the season, 2 for 2 that trip. So we know where the ball will be late in the game in Chills' hands. 28-20, and also Ruck's a very good shooter as well. Here's the pass, right of the key. The runner goes in with the right hand for Pringle. Pringle has played well. She's got 10.
That's a big basket.
Pass into Rux, turning, goes up with the right hand and puts it in. Rux very nearly picked up her third personal. She used that off arm.
Oh, yeah, she got away with a travel there as well. But I've always been taught it's not a travel unless they call it.
Again, wide open. The catch, the shot, no good by Gentry. And this time, Column had the rebound. And coming away with it, here's Madison Moore for the first time. Just checked in. Pushing. Flipping it up and in is Chills. As we await the call. This is going to be on Jasmine Bush.
I tell you what, Chills has came out with a different mentality in this half. She's trying to get all the way to the basket, and she's doing a good job of putting pressure on the defense, and they're going to have to keep her body in front of her.
That could spell trouble as Gentry comes out and Ruffin comes back in. That could spell trouble for Southeast Lauderdale because a team that has been the more aggressive team has been the team that's been victorious today.
Yeah, and that zone defense is kind of softened their mentality a little bit. I think they're going to at some point have to get in a man.
Right corner, pass in now to Rux. Rux just bowling over people, puts it up, soft touch. How good is she around the basket?
Oh my gosh, she's so wide and she's so poised down there, and she took her time there. And I've never really seen a player her size dribble the baseline and go and finish on the other side like she just finished.
The drive, the kick. The shot up and a travel, steps called. That time, Pringle got to the spot she wanted to on the floor and then just slipped.
Yeah, I think her feet came from up on her, but that's a good move. She should go back to that one again.
All of a sudden, largest lead of the game with Rux back out on the floor. Goes back to what we were talking to at halftime. Southeast Lauderdale probably needed the lead heading into the locker room, which they did not have. They were down 4.
Yeah,
Rux now takes an extra step.
They're back to putting that player on the front side of Rux. I think they went away from that early. And with her going out, she came back and they didn't really start out like that. So they should really stick back to that defense.
Just past the halfway point, third quarter. The drive by Knight into the corner. Newell dumped down low. Bush going to attack on Rux. Rux walled up nicely. Loose ball. And now to the floor they go. Held ball. And the arrow is going to be Ripley's way.
It's amazing to me that we hadn't had a player hurt in this game. That was a tough fall, and Rux is not a small girl. She fell on top of the player there, and it's amazing. They both just popped up.
David, everybody back in the truck has got to be laughing because this afternoon and this morning was even more physical, more dangerous. We had 2 players literally end up under the scorer's table.
Wow.
Unreal hustle that we have seen. Just the passion in this tournament. It's so fantastic. And a nice jumper by Column. Fearless. And Ripley now, they're feeding off of Rux, they're feeding off of Chills, and everybody playing with that confidence now.
They're looking to put the game away right here. Southeast has really kind of come out with their best set here and get a basket.
Right of the key, into the corner, Newell. Big trip here for Southeast Lauderdale. They got it to the right player, but her shot was blocked. Pringle had it blocked, wiped away, bodies to the floor, and a scramble. And here comes Ripley. Nice extra pass and a layup by Collum. And the crowd is going nuts behind us. And you wonder if Coach Miller about to burn another timeout for Southeast Lauderdale. It's now ballooned to a 14-point game.
I like what Collum did there. She found her star, and she was able to get the ball back. Young players really need to learn how to do that. Give it up, and you'll get it back.
Loose ball, rebound, stick back wouldn't go. And all of a sudden, Southeast Lauderdale playing kind of frantic. Chills to Rux. Rux going to finish. You knew it. I mean, that was a given. When she got the ball on the block, and now they're amping up the crowd.
Yeah, Chills has really taken over this game. She's just stepping up and playing like a woman possessed.
38-22, 16 points. Big time screen. Jumper no good. Rebound. Turning shot up. Missed. The board and the foul. And Pringle going to the line.
That was a tough screen there. We really have to watch out. I think she might be a little hurt from the screen there, and she might need. She hadn't had a breast the whole game. This might be her sub at the table, but this would be a good time to get your superstar rest here at Chills.
Daisha Collum picked up her fourth. Each team with 2. We'll see the freshman Rich check in for Collum. Collum gets a nice ovation. There's still 9.5 minutes to go in this game. Southeast does not have to start shooting jumpers. They got to get to the rim.
Yeah, at this point, they just have to really chip away at it. You're not going to get it all back right here. You just have to chip away, play good defense, rebound the ball, and stop Chills from going through the lane.
Chill misses, but Rux is there to clean it up for 2 more. Rux is taking over 8 of her 12 here in the second half, or rather I should say here in the third quarter, leads right back to 16.
And it was big that she didn't pick up that third foul in the first half, and now she can just play ball, which she's doing a good job.
Pass inside, and oh my goodness, did we put the jinx on right there, partner? There's number 3. We don't want to do that to any player on any team.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, the good thing about it is it's number 3 and not number 4. If she would have played and picked up that third foul, it would have been really tough for her.
What's funny about it is you're saying that while she is planting 2 palms in her lower back of the player she's guarding. I mean, that was an obvious call.
Oh yeah, wasn't questionable at all.
Here's Bush, the fadeaway, and along the baseline an air ball. Pringle could not save it in. 1 minute and a second to go, third quarter. 16-point game. Ripley has come out and scored 18 points in this third quarter. That's as many as Southeast Lauderdale scored the entire first half.
Well, let's see if Ripley tries to hold the ball here. Southeast is in the zone, and I think they're going to hold it here for the last shot and try to pull them out of the zone and get a good basket here.
For the crowd in anticipation of the boys game and also watching into this game. It's a nice crowd tonight. With the dribble, it's Moore. Now to Chills. We got to check and see if Chills even has a pulse right now. She is so cool. Not flustered, never gets rattled. Evans back to Chills.
She's just playing a really good game here in this third quarter. I think she's the difference in the game.
And only a junior. She's a player to watch next year as a senior, whether or not she lands on any team or not. She's going to be playing college basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Chills wanting to give it up to Moore. That time, not a good decision. Here's a steal, and Pringle was off and running, and Ripley fouls.
Well, I think Chills there, she was kind of getting a little closer with the ball, and she's grabbing her shorts now. She really could use a blow here, and I think Coach should give her a rest at the start of the fourth.
Rakayla Hoyle was the foul. Chills gets the steal. Shot at the buzzer blocked away by Denisha Knight. And as we head to the fourth quarter, it's 40-24. It's time for us now to remind you about where you can catch these games. Don't forget that all of the MHSAA championship games are live on demand at MHSAA.tv. That's MISSHSAA.tv along the MHSAA network. You can also catch all of the championship games on Mississippi Public Broadcasting, MPB. Check your local listings along the MHSAA network. And also one thing that they is so cool, they didn't have a graphic for it, but I can tell you about it. That's YouTube. You can go and just log on to YouTube, click on sports, and be able to check out all these games and also catch all the replays on YouTube. 40-24 our score as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Josh West alongside David Sanders, as we've got Mark and the crew back in the truck doing a fantastic job. And so here comes Southeast to inbound. So between the rings, it'll be Knight. Knight can lob inside a Bush. Southeast got a chip away. Turnaround shot good. And that's the way you're going to start it. If you're going to have a comeback, it's got to be bit by bit.
One basket at a time. You can only get one basket before you get another.
And Ripley doesn't need to change a thing. And as we see the quick timeout by fifth-year head coach Katie Bates, she's going to talk to her team. She was 2 years as an assistant, now in her 5th year as the head coach, 7th year overall, and it's been nothing but winning in her tenure. You go back to 2009, they lost in overtime to Belmont. Belmont's in this tournament. Last year, they won over Choctaw Central. Choctaw Central's in this tournament. Goes back to what I'm saying. You go back to 2008, 2006, 2001. Southeast Lauderdale was in the finals. So, I mean, these teams, this group of 4 teams, have been dominating 3A basketball for what seems like forever.
I think that's the difference in a team and a program. They've really done a good job of building a program to where year in and year out they can compete and have a chance to get in the big house, and they really expect to be here.
It takes a community to buy into from your junior high programs. If you have junior high coaches and different programs that feed into your school, it starts all the way from there. Even getting maybe a shooting and dribbling program in your elementary.
And that's one of the things I'm working on now at Northwest Rankin High School. We're trying to build it up into a community that really cares about the game of basketball.
Here's a shot by Rux, turning baseline, missing, but an offensive rebound by Chills. Tied up a held ball, but the arrow with Ripley. And that's the kind of night it's meant for Southeast Lauderdale. They get in there, they tie it up, and they look over at the scorer's table. Oh, the arrow's with Ripley.
Yeah, you just have to keep plugging away. Just keep plugging and do not drop your head at this point because the game is not over.
Chills a 3 out of the corner. That would have been a dagger. Loose ball, a battle for it. Southeast Lauderdale goes to the floor, and this time the held ball will be for Southeast Lauderdale. So as you said, keep sticking with it. Don't give up. 7:06 to go. And for Ripley, they're looking for the kill shot, though. They want to go ahead and push this thing over 20 and go ahead and end this thing.
I think Chills was sensing it. That 3 in front of the corner could have been a dagger, and she really had a good look at it, but she just didn't make it.
Nice extra pass for a layup by Tay Ruffin. Ruffin.
Oh, good full
And now
play.
here's a steal. The pass back to Ruffin. Blocked from behind by Chills. Ruffin got it back. Chills' presence altered that shot, but then throws it away. Got in a hurry. Back to Ruffin. Ruffin goes up and is fouled by Evans. Boy, all of a sudden, Southeast Lauderdale has cranked up the defensive intensity.
Once you get that basket, it gives you a chance to get in the press, and they did a good job of rotating there and trapping. It looks like they're picking up the energy.
This lead was as many as 16. It's been trimmed back to 12. Free throws here could trim it further. Free throw is up and short, no good. And for Ruffin, just a 54% free throw shooter for a team that shoots 54%. 4 points tonight. She came in averaging almost 8.5, and she splits the pair of free throws. It's an 11-point game as Rux to inbound it. Bad pass deflected, loose ball. And it's going to be another layup. We got ourselves a single-digit game. The layup by Pringle, a big one. And now Ripley has got to keep composure. Here's Evans racing into the front court. 6:25 left. And David, how big was that psychologically to get it back into single digits?
It was real big for them. They did a good job of putting on good pressure.
And then not so good of a job to keep it out of Rux's hands, and Rux catches on the block, and it's pretty much all said and done with when she gets it there.
Oh, that's taking candy from her baby, yeah.
42-31, 6 minutes to go. Nearly a travel there, just a lost basketball, and Rux a big block out of bounds.
The problem Southeast is having is getting the basket. They do a good job once they get the basket and get into the press, but they got to get a basket here to get themselves into their press.
You know, the only thing Rux might not have in her game is to do the Dwight Howard, just go up and cup it. Just hold it, just bring it back down. Don't even swat it out of bounds, just go up and cup it.
Oh, yeah.
She can work on that if she goes to
got a
Delta
long
State.
way to go.
Here's the pass into Rux, and she's got another layup. That's one area of her game where she is just cruising along at 100%. She's got a dozen in the second half, 16 in the game. She's already better than her average of 15.2.
She's showing her poise with sitting out that first half and coming back and playing some good ball here in the second half.
And you can only imagine, you've been there, you've been a player, big game. You know, maybe it was Mississippi State in Oxford. You pick up 2 fouls, and all these thoughts start running through your mind. What are you telling yourself, though, when you're sitting there for such a almost 2/3 of the first half?
It's so frustrating. I picked up 2 quick fouls here my junior year against Lanier, the number 1 team in the state, and it was tough for me to sit over there and watch. We ended up losing that game by 2 points, and I never really got over it.
You know, it's something you can't, and that's what is so big about it. The only good thing about it is there's a big push, and we see Evans end up almost in the bleachers with 5:19 to go. But you're right. The good thing about it is that, you know, Rux has been here before. She's got so much confidence because she's won one, so there's just so much positive internal self-speak. But again, you don't ever get over a loss. That's why, you know, good thing for Rux is, though, going back to last year, she doesn't have as much negative going through her mind as we look over and see Evans having to be helped off. Wonder if her shin met some part of those metal bleachers.
Oh, yeah, I think that really should have been the flagrant foul. I think one of the Southeast players got a little frustrated and kind of gave her a little extra shove. But hopefully she's okay. The Southeast has to keep their poise here. They're still in the ball game. They're down 13 points, and they're in the best situation right now. They're in their press.
At what point do you start thinking about the 3-ball, 5:19 left, 13-point game, the way Ripley has been playing? You've got to stay patient. We're saying that, but yet there comes a point with no shot clock. You've got to start trying to make things happen.
As long as right now you just want to think about just getting a basket. It doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3. A 3 would be big, but you definitely want to get a basket so you can get in your press. At some point, though, they're going to have to get in a hurry.
Nice job by Rich of getting around defenders, and then a shot from the baseline short by Ripley, and here comes Southeast Lauderdale into the front court. Between the circles, it's Knight. Inside, Bush spins free, misses the layup, loose ball, and Little Moore comes out of there with it. Nice play by Madison. Ahead to Chills. Chills gonna attack to the rim, banked it home. Could have been an and one, but Chills finishes nonetheless. 15 points, good no call, and a timeout on the floor with 4:38 to go, fourth quarter. We're gonna jump to break. It is Ripley 46, Southeast 31. Back in a moment.
We can get a player up here.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, perfect. Prepare a Wiley Ballard graphic.
Do you want me to start the stream?
Start the stream. Camera 3. Beautiful.
For more information on how your school can join the Play on School broadcast program and participate in the MHSAA network, go to playonsports.com/SBP.
(46-31) Ripley. They're tasting it, as it will be Choctaw Central and Belmont that will play tomorrow night for an opportunity for the championship game. 46-31, 4:38 remaining, and David, you've won one last year. You're looking for the repeat, and it could literally be the same matchup, whether it was the rematch with Belmont from 09, whether it was the rematch last year with Choctaw Central back in 2010. I mean, boy, the way this thing is shaking out, it could be interesting.
Oh, yeah, I think Ripley's looking forward to getting to their next game. They still have to close this one out, but either way it goes, they're going to have another shot at another state championship if they can finish strong here.
And by 2010, I meant the 2010-2011 season. Here is Cox ahead of Chills, down low Rux. Rux for a dagger, and she sticks it in.
I still don't understand why Southeast is still playing behind her in the post. That's going to be the easiest 2 points she's going to get all night.
She's just so good with an angle. she is. She's so wide that defenders can't get around to even attempt to block it. She knows that because of her height advantage, so she doesn't rush it. She's so crisp and fundamental. Again, as you said, it's automatic.
Oh yeah, she kind of reminds me of the new sensation here, Jeremy Lin, when she gets around the basket. She's just poised. She doesn't rush the shot, and she'll circle around the basket if she has to. She just picked up her fourth, so let's see how she plays from now on.
Free throw is up and good. Newell knocks in the first. So Jeremy Lin, it's Linsanity sweeping the nation, and Jeremy's going to trademark that term, Linsanity, get the rights for that. You're going to own you some Linsanity sneakers, maybe some Linsanity chewing gum, maybe a Linsanity bobblehead for your office. What do you think?
Well, I thought about a Linsanity t-shirt until last night when LeBron and D-Wade kind of calmed the hype a little bit.
Is this the year for those two? I mean, I want to see D-Wade get another one, and I do not dislike LeBron.
Oh, it's really looking like it's their year. Really
Nola pass Chills off a deflection over to Rich for two more. When it's going your way, it's going your way. Even a bad pass ends up in 2 points.
Oh, yeah. I think she's doing a wonderful job of pushing the tempo. She looks like she's gotten comfortable out there. Chills has.
Down the lane for two by Denisha Knight, but Southeast Lauderdale down 16 with 3.5 left. They're going to need stops, and they're going to need a lot of points. They're going to need threes. It's a 6-possession game.
One thing they're doing that I don't like is on their trap, they're not attacking the ball carrier. They have to go and attack the ball carrier and make them give the ball up. They're just kind of watching her a little bit. They have to go take the pressure to her.
Ripley with Evans. Left corner, back to Chills. Nice skip pass, 3-ball Cox. Long no good, and the rebound on the backside by Newell.
Ripley has to calm down. They have the lead here. They don't need any more points. They really have to take their time and work the clock. They don't have a shot clock.
Nice play by Bush. I know Southeast Lauderdale fans wondering where that's been all night. I have Jasmine with 7 points. I might be a couple off, but needless to say, Bush has been off of her season average of 17, but in a 14-point game, 3:04 left is a timeout on the floor. I'm not so sure that Southeast Lauderdale has really looked to get her the touches that she has needed tonight every trip down the floor.
And she's not shooting a great percentage. She's had a couple looks that she's missed, and I think with them being down, they kind of had to push the tempo and get away from their regular offense. But it's still not too late to get her the basketball, and she has to really demand the ball at this point and make sure she gets it and finishes, because right now is the time she had to really step up for her team.
A 14-point game. It was a 16-point game at the end of the third quarter, and time is just running out on Southeast. Could see a rematch. Could see Choctaw Central and Ripley again. Southeast looking to win a state championship for the first time since 2008. So there's just, as you touched on it, and it's what's great about it is there's programs. You know, some programs are football programs. Ripley and Southeast Lauderdale, it begins with their women's basketball programs. These are women's basketball powerhouses.
And it's a tradition there, and I think that's one of those things that you have to build up over time. I'm a second-year coach at Northwest Rankin, and I'm looking to build that up now.
You do. You have to have little kids growing up wanting to be Cougars there at Northwest.
Oh, yeah. And I see it every day with the baseball program. Jeff McClaskey's done a great job. He's been there 20 years. He's built it up to a wonderful program. And, you know, he's got a couple state championships. And it takes time. It's one of those things that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, it takes dedication with the parents, with the booster club, with the players. And it has to be something that they really want to do. And these players have really bought into the program and they work hard.
Zeta Cox steps to the line, knocks in the free throw. The foul was on Jasmine Bush, her third. And for Cox, her first made free throw of the ball game after an 0-for-4 start. Fans starting to file for the exits. A few are, as the second free throw is missed. And Southeast Lauderdale pushing down the lane. It's Knight. The floater won't fall. Rucks the rebound, rips it away, and clears it ahead. And now attacking is Chills. Chills goes up in traffic and has it poked away, and she was the last one to touch it.
I think Chills is going to have to realize at this point it's time to pull it back out and run some clock. She's kind of gotten a little excited. She doesn't want to get herself hurt for the next game. She's going to want to save a little energy. And this is a point in the game where you really have to slow it down and kind of work some clocking. And you only want free throws and layups here.
What keeps our ladies going down in Hattiesburg is the ice tub. And it's a shame that some of these ladies, especially Chills, can't get a little chilly tonight in an ice bath after this one to get all that soreness out.
Oh yeah, that ice bath is really a good tool, but at the same time you have a lot of these young players that really doesn't want to see that because it's very painful. But it does refresh you. It does get you ready for your next game.
After a turnover and a Newell finish, Evans pushing it up the floor like Ripley's down 10.
Yeah, they really have to settle down.
And they just realized it. Light bulb just went off. They work it down low, Ruggs. Ruggs turns, right shoulder into the paint and finishes. What a clinic. 20 points, 16 in the second half. She's at 8 in each quarter now, the third and the fourth.
And to be honest, Southeast has really not made it hard on her. They really sat behind her in the post, gave her a good position, and she's just taking advantage of it.
So you got some ice bath stories, pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, I've taken a few of my days. It's one of those things that you get to a certain point where you have to do it. Especially playing in the SEC, playing 39, 40 games. And it gets to a point to where you're playing 35, 36 minutes a night, to where you really need that pick me up, and that ice bath really helps. It's a good tool.
We've got some of our players almost every game. It's after every game as Bush goes inside, gets 2 more. 9 now for Jasmine Bush. 53-40. Here comes Chills. Chills circling around and dribbling herself right into a 3-way trap. And there's a whistle and a foul call, I believe. But one of the things you don't want to do, Coach, you don't want to run to the baseline to catch that full court pass. That baseline's another defender. And you don't want to come across half court and then circle back around to the corner.
And I think one of the things Chills has to learn, she's only a junior, but she's going to have to play with her head up a little bit more and get rid of that ball when she gets trapped. Right there, she could have been in danger of having a turnover there. And as we see, another hard foul.
And again, you saw that right leg of Chills just kind of buckle there. Boy, these knees and ankles, especially the ladies, they're just built a little differently.
Oh, yeah. Coach might want to think about getting out of there at this point. This game is pretty much done at this point, and you don't want to get her hurt. She's playing hard. It looks like she only knows one speed, so sometimes you have to be her eyes and ears for her and just sit her down for the rest of this one.
Zeta Cox, 5 points. 1 made free throw in 6 attempts. Let's see what she can do right here. We're working on it for next game, and she misses the front end of the 1-and-1. Chills went up for the rebound, couldn't pull it in. Long outlet pass, ricochets around. Pringle picks it up, flips it back over to Knight. Knight looking across the lane, trying to get it to Newell and threw it away with 51.1.
They played hard. They really played a hard game. They have nothing to hang their heads down about. A lot of teams would love to be in this position to have a chance to play in the big house. Good crowd came out for them, and they just really have to hold their heads high and be proud of the season that they've had.
Well, for all of those Ripley fans that want to copy this game, don't forget you can go to MHSAA.tv as Rux checks out of the ball game to high fives from her teammates, as you can see on the bottom left corner of your screen. But MHSAA.tv as Chills puts in the free throw. Chills has been dynamite in this one.
Yeah, Chills and Rux are definitely 2 big-time players. They will be playing on the next level, and they were really the difference in this game.
16 now for Chills, missing the second free throw. When we're done over the next 45 seconds, we'll be signing off immediately when this is done. We'll have about 10 minutes before we come right back on for our next game as a layup put in that time by Southeast Lauderdale. That's Knight, 2 more. Our next game's going to be a fun one. We've got a team from Jackson. All that blue you see in the stands, some of that is for Bailey Magnet School. Out of Jackson, kind of a feel-good story. Good to see them in this tournament. And they'll be taking on Boonville, the North #1 against the South #2 in 3A boys as Evans steps out to a nice ovation from her fans. 12-point game. Chills back to the line. Free throw, a back iron miss. Here comes Newell pushing. Gets it ahead. Pringle back to Newell. Nice give and go. Newell gets 2 points.
They're still playing hard. I like to see that from Southeast. They're still playing hard. They haven't given up. They're going to play until the whistle blows.
Ripley's going to have a chance to repeat. Southeast Lauderdale the South runner-up, going to end their season at 24-10. Ripley is going to improve to 29-4 on the season. Here is the three ball out of the corner. That one no good. Rebound by Chill. This one's almost in the history books as Chill is fouled. And Southeast Lauderdale, they want to give Chills every opportunity to get her average. She's got 16. She averages 17.8. They wanted to get her average. That's why they keep fouling her.
Looks like Coach has a sub at the table for her now. I really feel like she should have been out maybe a minute ago with her playing the whole game here. She's going to need some rest because they're going to have a big game coming up here in a few days.
17 now for Chills. The Ripley crowd behind us is on their feet as wholesale substitutions for both teams. A lot of players checking in, getting a taste of a state tournament atmosphere. It's going to pay dividends down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be big for them to get some more of their players some experience and give them a little time, give them a few minutes, even if it's just a minute.
Yeah, and even right here, just over 10 seconds, but doesn't matter. It's just the fact that you cannot duplicate that feeling of stepping on the floor at this arena for the first time. You know, a lot of players probably can barely breathe.
Oh, yeah, I had a senior class leave me this year that never experienced the big house. And it's one of the things these girls will be able to say, I was at least on the floor and I got a chance to get out there and play for a few minutes.
Here's a deflection. The clock didn't start for about 2 or 3 seconds. 6.3 left. 56-44 Ripley. As the shot up is missed, that's your ball game. And David, final score 56-44. We've got about 30 seconds. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it was a great game by Ripley. They really relied on their big three, and I think the first half they got a big lift from one of their starters, Chills, and she really carried them in the first half. Second half, Rux came in and did what she does best.
Ripley advances to the championship. They advance to the 3A finals. Final score 56-44 for our crew. For David Sanders, I'm Josh West. So long for the Mississippi Coliseum. We'll see you in just a few minutes for Bailey Magnet and the game against Boonville.